All right, Power 94 WJTT, what's happening? Eric Foster hanging out with you guys, man. This is big. When you talk about one of the foundations of hip-hop, from my perspective, he is a father. He's an entrepreneur. He's a record executive, a philanthropist, a speaker, movie producer. The list goes on and on. Dame Dash on the line. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Like I said earlier, I took questions from some of our street flavor artists because it is Chattanooga Hip Hop Week. And the first one is this young person said, the streets recognize you as a astute businessman, and you have a reputation for always bouncing back through challenges when you're dealing with businesses. What is the biggest misconception about Dame Dash?
The biggest misconception, I think that I care that what people think about the negative things that they say about me. And as a businessman, it's a very humbling thing no matter what, because when you start a business with your own money, you're starting off by being broke. You have to invest. Now, someone that's never done that would not understand that. So it could appear that, I'm rolling one day, and I will be, but I'll invest all that money in something completely different. And that now I'm not rolling no more, but I do have equity. I have things on the street. And as I'm inspired, because I do things in a very futuristic way, a lot of time industry is not ready for what I'm doing. So I got to wait and do something else in between that. So I got to stay inspired, like streaming. Like I had a streaming service in 2005. Wow. Before Netflix. You know what I'm saying? But no one was ready. I had a television network on the internet with creative control in 2005. But again, no one was ready for that. Before YouTube was making commercials. But I was looking for the business to establish itself. So then I saw people starting to make a little money on YouTube, but I was seeing how much they were working, and the numbers weren't making sense. And I'm looking at how everyone pays when it comes to ads when they finally implement them. And I'm like, how is it that, you could get 1 million hits and only make $7,000, but I don't know how much they're making. How come there's no transparency here? So now I'm like, I launched my streaming service. I'm like, I'm not putting my stuff where I'm going to get robbed. So I'm going to make people buy to come to see direct. But that doesn't work in this day and age. A paid subscription. It doesn't work for Netflix. It doesn't work for Disney. It works for nobody. But then I was like, I got to do it for free, but I have to get the right ad plug. I have to get right to the ads. So what I've also learned is, it's about CPMs. And people just don't understand how to get paid because they're not approaching things like a boss. But at any rate, saying all of that, I'm saying this to say that I've been dreaming about having my own network like a boss, not being just a content creator. I do that because I'm inspired. And American New is the network, and now I have the ad plugs. So if YouTube was getting the ads from Pablo, I went around YouTube and I get the ads from Pablo. Right. But the difference between YouTube is I'll show you a dashboard and I'll show you how much you're making from the ad. But YouTube makes basically for every $6,000, they give you one. And they don't give you any accounting. They never tell you how much they make from you. So if they're making money off you and paying you what they want, how is that not digital slavery? Right. And I look at patterns, algorithms, because I look at things like a boss, like who's making the lion's share of the money. And I'm like, well, I see that Leo Cohen robbed us in music, and now he's over in YouTube. Of course he's going to rob us with digital because of the lack of knowledge we have because the business is so new. Absolutely. So I had to study all of that. So while everyone else is kind of distracted, I'm always looking at how the people that are paying people are making the money and who they're robbing so I can make sure I can protect those people. Yeah. So, I can't be caring about what people think when I'm trying to save the world. I look at myself like a superhero. Absolutely. And my actions reflect it. So if you notice, I don't make artists struggle. I make artists rich. The problem with artists are because they don't have money, they can't realize their art. And when they got to get money from somebody else, it gets compromised. So what I do is I make sure my artists are rich. And you know what you get? You get a Kanye. You get a Jay-Z. Absolutely. It don't make me rich. I should be rich off my own stuff. So I'm working on me. And I'm not the type of person that really wants to make so much money off of other people. I want to make money with other people. I like partners. I don't like employees. Right. That's bars. All right. Now I'm going to slide in my own personal question coming from a father standpoint. As a parent, I speak in terms of gamers because I had this conversation with my son. Do your kids understand your accomplishments and that they have a master of the cheat codes
with life and entrepreneurship and making money and being in business move, do they listen to what you have to say, or are you just dad?
They absolutely do not listen. They're starting to understand it gradually based on like going to college, graduating, and getting older and seeing that life isn't so easy. Mm-hmm. But as children, not at all. They're the hardest for me to talk to. They're numb to everything I say. And it's really hard to break those cycles sometimes because second generation kids can be entitled because they don't have real problems. And they sometimes overreact to problems because they don't know what real problems are. So I have to figure out how to make sure they don't have problems like, that aren't problems, but they still react like they are as well.
Right.
And they don't listen. They don't understand that I'm fighting for them. On some levels, they think other people's stuff is iller. And I'd be like, that makes no sense. It's just, if I make it, if I do it, then it just seems like it's easy. But, they appreciate it when they become adults. So you have to like give them those morals and principles. Children sometimes don't listen. They have to like learn from experience. So you just let them learn from experience, but you'll be like, remember, I told you so. So what's happening right now, like with my daughter, there's a lot of I told you so. Mm-hmm. Being like, I told you. There's been like 6 I told you. Like maybe, and now she completely is on the same sheet of paper, but it's still getting her to have that hunger. I'll never get my children to have the hunger I've had. I don't want them to ever be that hungry, So it's almost like you go through a lot of things so your children's children can live a really easy life. They're not going to be in survival mode, so they're not going to really have to fight so hard to survive, and I'm not preparing them to have to feel so much pain. So that's what my fight is, because, I'm going to always be all right. But I do worry about my kids and my kids' kids. They might be soft. So I want to make sure that, they're protected and that they have an easy life. Like when you become wealthy, you start to hang out around wealthy people. But the wealthy people I'm around sometimes are second and third generation. Right. So I'll know someone that's 60 or 70 years old that's never worked a hard day in their life, never worried about nothing. Like life can exist where you don't have to economically worry about anything for your whole existence. And you could, and that only happens when your grandfather does something that's miraculous. Right. So I'm the grandfather. I might not even be here to see that art, but my picture will be on the wall. And, my soul will know that my kids are all right, or at least I did everything I could to make sure of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What with the strike that's going on in Hollywood, this is from another one of our kids. The future film is looking like it's going to be independent. You've always been ahead of the curve and a trailblazer when it comes to that. What's your favorite part of the filmmaking process?
The whole part. I love the development of it. I love the preparing to shoot. I love shooting. I love making the music. I love editing. I love all those things. And then I also love putting it out, seeing what people say about it. It's an art. And then I love selling products while people are watching it. And then I love getting it distributed. It's an art from every single part of it when you're independent. And with AI and all that, it makes things a lot easier.
Absolutely.
So if you're a person that gets paid to do a service, AI might bother you. But if you're a person that has to pay people to do a service, AI is the truth. Gotcha. But I got to jump on the call with my lawyer. So if we can do one more and I jump off, if that's okay?
Yeah.
Or I can come back on.
No, last question, man, because I know you're busy. In your opinion, you're one of the professors of hip hop. What grade would you give hip hop right now? Letter grade.
I try not to do that because I'm old.
Gotcha.
And I'm always going to say an A because economically it has definitely empowered a lot of us and a lot of voices and let us be more creative. People are making more money than we did. So there's an evolution there, but I don't judge it because I'm old. And I remember when I was young and older people judge hip hop, I'd be like, get your old ass out of here. So I don't want to be that guy. You know what I mean?
Understood. Dame Dash.
Hip hop is my fan. Always an A+.
Entrepreneur, record executive, philanthropist. Thank you so much for taking time and talking with us, man. God bless you.
I appreciate questions and I appreciate y'all listening. I'll be there soon.
Absolutely.
American New with the NU. Check it out on 5-6 later.